on, let me do a mic check real quick. Mic check. Okay, my speakers are on. I'm glad I did that. Turn that down. OCO, everyone. OCO.
OCO, free thinkers.
If you can hear me, just let me know real quick, because I'm still doing a couple of things on my end to get everything situated. OCO, if y'all could give me some fire emojis or some turtles, some bow and arrows, some feathers, just let me know we in here. We good? Loud and clear. All right, what's going on, y'all? What's going on?
Set it on fire. Fire. Fire.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Hold on, I'm about to, hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, cool. All right, I had to do a couple things real quick. So who we got up in here? Let me turn that down. Let me turn this up.
Set it on fire. Fire.
Let's hold up. Okay, let me bring up my chat. OCO, what's up, y'all? Ohio in the building. I see you. What's up, Blue Dreamer? Florida in the building. Duval, what up, Duval? Boston in the building. What that say? Richmond, California in the building. Portsmouth, VA in the building. What's going on, VA? Montgomery, Alabama in the building. Charlotte, North Carolina in the building. Grand Rapids, Michigan in the building. I see you. What up, Philly? What up, Michigan? Wilson, North Carolina. LA in the building. What up, Cali? We got Georgia in the house. Sacramento, California in the house. Buffalo, New York in the house. Chicago, South Side. What's going on, Chi-Town? Kansas City in the building. Dallas in the building. Chicago, Illinois in the building. Baton Rouge, Louisiana in the building. Raleigh, North Carolina. Seattle, Washington. Atlanta, Georgia. Dallas, Texas. Augusta, Georgia checking in. Who we out? Let me see. Charlotte. and Pensacola, Florida. And what that say? I know that said New York, but that went a little quicker. And shout out the Blue Dreamer. Been a member for 9 months.
Set it on fire.
I appreciate that, sister. 9 months in a row. Gulf Coast, I see you. San Antonio. Yeah, San Antonio, Pooler, Georgia, San Diego, Philadelphia, Henderson, Kentucky. I believe that was Mississippi. It went past kind of quick. Brooklyn, Vancouver, Compton in the building. What up, Compton?
Set it on fire.
College Park, GA in the building. Decatur, Georgia in the building. Jacksonville, Florida in the building. Nola in the building. Flint, Michigan in the building. Orlando, Florida in the building. Tampa, Florida in the building. London, UK in the building. I believe that said Memphis 10 in the house. Hollywood, Florida in the building. Madison, Alabama. Jonesboro, what's going on? I didn't get a chance to see what that was though. I believe that said LA as well. I say, yeah, LA. South London in the building. What up, London? Madison, Alabama in the building. Man, listen, y'all. We got to continue on with this next one. Y'all know what I'm getting at, right? Y'all know what I'm getting at. Long Beach in the building. I see you. We got to wrap this one up because there's some other things that's coming up I want to get into. And as a matter of fact, let me, no, you ain't even got to slow it down. You good. Bring it back to normal. You ain't even got to slow it down. Hold on, let me switch these screens real quick. Cause I remember, hold on.
OCO, freethinkers. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet.
This brother, he is raising some serious questions.
He's here to make you think.
What I'm trying to do is get our people to understand that we have been lied to all the way around about our history. Can you name any other group of people, no matter their skin complexion, that are being labeled primarily as the name of two continents? Not two countries, two continents. That is called a misnomer, which is the act of applying a wrong name to some person or thing.
The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes.
I want y'all to check out somebody named Dane Calloway.
Dane Calloway?
Look into Dane Calloway. He has a lot of information about how this whole shit was told in reverse. Okay? Where they say, oh, we came from Africa over here. No, a lot of us was already here.
And information that was put together by a man by the name of Dane Calloway, who is also questioning the slave trade. And he's done some remarkable videos on the history of the slave trade in the United States. And he's gone back down the food chain and gone back down the line, and he's realized that a lot of the so-called African Americans in the United States are not African at all. They're actually Native Americans, because the slave trade did not happen the way we were told that it happened.
It's Dane Calloway.
Go and watch this man's channel, man. This dude is phenomenal.
I'm not saying African American because they're not African American. They're the Aboriginals, because they were the true Native Americans.
Set it on fire.
They're the copper color race. Look up Dane Calloway and watch his fucking shows. That man, Dane Calloway on YouTube, oh my God. He is fucking beyond brilliant. The research he does, whoo! He goes way deep into this shit.
Relax and take notes.
It's Dane Calloway on I'm Just Here to Make You Think Radio.
Y'all saying y'all can't see the poll? That's on YouTube side. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It wasn't too important, but I just wanted to make sure I could ask y'all right now, because y'all can see it right now. I was asking about the thumbnail to make sure if it was clear on y'all side. I said, was it, yes or no, or was it hot fire? If it's hot fire, drop some fire emojis in the chat. If you satisfied with it, you can just type yes. If you don't like that thumbnail, type no. You know what I mean? I'm turning up with it.
Set it on fire.
I want to briefly go over what we about to do because I want to get right into it. Okay, good. Excellent. A lot of high fire in the building. Hey.
Set it on fire.
Hey. Yeah, man. All right, so that's excellent. That's excellent. I know a couple of people was asking me to do their thumbnails for them. How can I explain this? You gotta at least come to me with what your title is, and I could probably work something out. So let me work something out. You gotta be inside of the 13% community server too. I don't want to hear you in the comments, Dane, do a thumbnail. No. You gotta be in the 13% community server. It's free, by the way.
It's up.
13% community server. We got something major popping off tomorrow, by the way. You got to be inside of the 13% community server to know what's going on. If you already know what's going on.
OCO, free thinkers.
It's some hot fire. I don't want you guys to miss that. I would love for everybody to participate in it. Just little steps that we getting into, bringing in the new year. So we could be doing major things with this fresh, brand new year coming. According to the Gregorian calendar, by the way. So once we get that involved and get other people involved as far as our people are concerned, and, we should be able to knock out a lot of things that's necessary for our people when it comes to our community. And that's just not me chucking and jabbing, or me talking or whatever. No, I'm telling the truth. What my wife and I have done and what we are doing now, and what a lot of you may witness or bear witness to as far as other content creators on YouTube that specifically speak about this topic here. We're all about our people. Now, I can't speak for everybody but my wife and myself as far as what their personal agendas are. But my wife and I, this is not about us. It's not about having, some form of recognition where people could say, well, Dane and Tanisha Calloway did this. That's cool. That's cool. We appreciate the recognition and the honor and the flowers and all the love and the support. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want you to think that that's the end all be all. I want you to know that the ultimate goal is about bringing our people up out of this bull crap called the Matrix that the majority of our people are suffering from right now. They don't realize that they're in the form, in that Matrix form right now because they are so accustomed with that being their reality. Okay, as far as adjustments being made, they're comfortable. They don't want to see adjustments. As far as improvements being made, they're comfortable. They don't want to see improvements. As far as changes being made, that may come around to their brain anytime they want to vote a politician in. You know how they go. And then right after that, as soon as that person get up in there, boop, your thoughts and what you may believe should happen is out the window, according to the politician's own agenda. So, since we can't trust them and everybody else that's associated with them, do I really need to say any names? We should be doing a lot more things for ourselves. We don't need nobody's help but our own. We could be doing this from top to bottom. It's not impossible, ladies and gentlemen. It's not impossible. And the reason why we know it's not impossible is because we tried in the past. Hold on. Wait. We did more than tried in the past. We've done it. in the past. That's the main reason why a lot of these foreigners that came over here that established, their own situations by copying off of our situations. And, in order to bring themselves up after 100 and 150 years, they copied us and wanted to stop us from excelling so they could be in charge of us. Then they slapped labels on us. Then they slapped the term black on us, which is a status, ain't got nothing to do with our skin complexion. Everybody that's calling themselves black right now ain't even the color black. How you gonna mistake brown for black? Big difference. So it ain't about your skin complexion. It's about the status that these foreigners put you in. They call us inferior, the inferior race, right? Why we gotta be below them? Why they? What made them so supreme? Who died and made them king here? Who did it? Oh yeah, we getting started tonight. And this ain't me, this ain't Dane Calloway preaching. I mean, this may be Dane Calloway teaching, but what I'm gonna tell you is that I'm tired and sick and tired of the bull crap. Let's get straight to the point. Now, a couple of people may ask, well, Dane, what are we gonna do with all this information that you provide? And I'm gonna tell you straight up. First of all, do you know of the information that I provide? Can you regurgitate the information that I provide? Can you even comprehend the information that I provide? Before you want to jump to the next step, we got to make sure that I'm testing and grilling you on this first step. Because if we can't get past the first step, you understand what I'm saying? What's the point of the next? Stop trying to hop, skip, and jump to the finish line. That's not even how it works in this game of race, right? Did them foreigners hop, skip, and jump to the finish line? No, I just got finished saying that it took them 100 and 150 years, right? Now, I'm not saying that it's going to take us that long. I mean, goddamn, they copied the script from us. So since we already got the script written, how long is it going to take us to produce this movie in real life? Ain't going to take that long. As long as we are the producers, in which we are, as long as we are the directors, in which we should be. A lot of the people that came over here was taking notes, writing stuff down. Like, look at them. And you know what we told them to do? What Biggie say?
Relax and take notes.
And they sure did. Copied the script and elevated themselves as a people, and we wonder why we below them. Because they made themselves higher than us. And then we want to point the blame at the white man, the white man, the white man. But what about us? When have we ever, as far as the people is concerned, taken any responsibility for our actions? For anything that we have done in our past, as far as mistakes are concerned? Because goddamn it, we made plenty. Because you can't right now name a war that didn't take place, or that did take place rather, that we were not involved in, as far as our people is concerned. I'm talking about any war in America, we were involved. But wait a minute, who were we fighting for? Were we fighting for America's independence or foreigners' independence in a foreign territory that they are foreign to, ain't resided day in their life and needed the indigenous people, who are you, to come about that hole that they were in order for them to survive as long as they have right now. So far. But yet you want to put your own people in a position where we need to be pointing the blame at other people when we need to be pointing the blame at our own people. We helped these MFers come up. Now what about us? How do we look so simple running to the government for help? That looks so dumb. And they just sitting back laughing. Ain't near law I'm talking about to this day, come out and state anything as far as a benefit is concerned when it comes to so-called African Americans and blacks. Still, where do you go? It's about to be 2024. What are you waiting for? Because they show not waiting on you. Another example, real life example of how this really affects us still to this day. Modernized slavery and you don't see it. The California governor came out and said that he was going, put together a reparations task force that's going to investigate what happened to so-called black residents of California. And they're going to seek to make sure that they get some form of reparations. Now tell me, when have you, hold on, before I jump to that, they did their investigation. Allegedly, got together, had meetings, brought up proposals. It hit the news, and the Governor Newsom of California, said that he backed that, right? Now, the task force disbanded. It had to go through legislation. Listen. It had to go through legislation before it got to Governor Newsom for him to sign off on it. Now, I dare anybody that's out there in California right now to tell me the status. Listen. To tell me the status of those reparations here. Tell me. When is he waiting? How long is it going to take? What are we waiting for? If everything was, I'm talking about I's dotted, T's crossed, what are we waiting for? Is it still active? Well, no. Once again, I warned y'all that task force was about to disband, and that's it here. All of a sudden, we ain't hearing nothing else from Galvin Newsom about that reparations promise here, about any of those proposals turning into any form of legislation, anything that they proposed. I'm talking about Pickett. Did anything turn up law? How long? How long you willing to wait? Again, 2024 knocking at your door. And when I tell you that these are distractions and you get mad at me for saying that, no, Dane, you gotta believe. They said that about Jesus Christ. No, Dane, you gotta believe. They said that about Santa Claus. No, Dane, you gotta believe. They said that about us being captured from some part of Africa, being transported by way of a slave ship. That term never existed. And then brought to the Americas by who, nigga? Who? Who did that? Who? The government? Colonizers? Who? Who are their names? Just like I can go back and name everybody that was on that California Reparations Task Force Committee, correct? I could even tell you the governor, Galvin Newsom, the governor of California. I could tell you his name, right? Tell me the name of the people that captured so-called enslaved Africans from Africa and brought them over here. No, but they could tell you, but they could tell you your story. And we falling for it? Look at the point that I'm making here. Some of you may be like, well, Dane, what point are you making here? You've been lied to this entire time. But Dane, what are we going to do about it? I'm providing you the right information, because this information not only pissed me off, not only pissed people off that's in the chat, those that's watching, not saying nothing too. I'm talking about the ones that know, but it's going to piss you off too. Hopefully, that's going to convert you into saying, okay, tell you what, we got to do something about it. Not know you 50 plus years old and you like, fuck it, we can't do nothing. Hold up. You 50 plus years old, you got a generation that you brought in here, didn't you? If you can't do it in yours, they can do it in theirs. Now, don't turn your nose up thinking that you can't do something. You 40, 50, 60 years old right now. Yes, you can. Because it's teenagers and 20-year-olds listening to me right now. 30-year-olds right now. In order for you to create an account on YouTube, you got to be 13 years old. They already have a separate app for the kids called YouTube Kids. Ain't no kids on here without their parents' permission. So with you being the parent or you being the adult, and you know other people that got children in your family, you got a job to do. You got to teach them what really happened here. This is what my wife and I is providing for y'all. We can keep reaching back in the past and reaching back in the past, and then what? You want to see some results out of this, don't you? So do I. I keep telling you what these fuckers did to us. We got to do something about it. We can't just sit on our hands and do nothing. We got folks running this country that bit the hands that fed them. And we just letting them get away with it by not saying shit, by not doing nothing. I'm gonna tell y'all how deep it get, right? Hold up. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Oh, hold up. Nah, that's gonna take too long. Okay, let me give y'all a scenario, right? Let me give y'all a scenario. A real life one. You see how they talking about P. Diddy this, P. Diddy that, right? Listen. I'm not saying what he did was right nor wrong. I don't know what the hell he did. All we hearing is accusations. But hear me out, right? We hearing all of that about him. Here's the reason. Because they want our own people to bring him down. They want the social media to hold court before he go to court. Listen, I'm not backing him up or nothing. Again, forget him. I don't even know him in real life. Who cares for real, in my opinion? That's my opinion. I could care less about that nigga. He don't make me or break me at all. Matter of fact, no human do. How? He breathed the same air as me. But I'm just saying, they hold court on social media against this person. All accusations here, all accusations. We ain't seen nothing. We automatically assume he guilty. But do they do that same shit to a foreigner? Where it's heavily promoted by every so-called Caucasian YouTube content creator. That's all they talk about. No. But I'm talking about my own people, the Niji on YouTube, constantly talking bad about our own people that make more money than them. You not tired of seeing that? You don't think that's a problem? And then you got the nerve to complain about black on black crime when technically that's the same shit, just done socially. And ain't near other race, ain't near other group of people doing that but us. Nobody else. We just heard Cube a couple months ago come out and expose the gatekeepers again, put his life on the line, told you that the majority of the people that's running these big record companies own private prisons and ain't that person do anything about it. We still promoting hip hop as if we own it. And we allow another person to come out and say that that's not our culture. That's somebody else's culture. When hip hop was birthed in America here, we letting that slide. Nobody's stepping up. But all of a sudden we step up when we see one so-called Caucasian male do something to an innocent black male or female, so-called black male or female. Look how that work. Then you want to get behind, listen, I'm just saying, it's almost like people join these activist movements when it's convenient for them. Especially when it's around voting season. And this cycle repeats every single year. We have to break that cycle. We got to break the cycle. We got to stop allowing society to control us, to dictate what we should be doing. It's bad when they gotta say black YouTube, black Twitter, black TikTok. That's bad. And y'all think that's cool. That's bad. It ain't no Caucasian TikTok. It ain't no Hispanic TikTok, Hispanic Twitter. It ain't none of that. Nigga, wake up. And then you step in black power, black empowerment. This is black culture. You are belittling yourself. Every time I'm talking about every time you associate with yourself with that term black. Every single time. Our people didn't come up with that. Our people did not come up with black, Negro, colored, nor Indian. Ain't nobody's identity get misclassified and reclassified more than us. Nobody can relate to that. And that don't raise a red flag to you? It don't? It don't show you that something wrong? It don't show you? We getting misclassified, reclassified, and then look, as soon as we agree to saying or settle to calling ourselves black, declassified. Once I get past this venting part, we gonna get to the session. If you watching this later on and you don't feel like hearing me talk to y'all like this, skip up. I suggest that you listen to me. Some of y'all don't need that though. Y'all been here for a minute. But y'all gotta understand that I average 3,000 to 5,000 people as far as new subscribers a month. I gotta talk to these people. And that slowed down because it used to be 3,000 to 5,000 every week. We know who controlling that. I gotta talk to them. When they get here, they need to get shaken up. They gotta hear Dane Calloway escalate his voice. You know why? Because if I talk to you like this, in 1864, there was a young man and blah, 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 blah. If I talk to you like that, it might not connect. But when I get out of my narration voice and you hear me, I'm gonna calm down, and you hear me, this means I'm not bullshitting. I'm not bullshitting with the narration either, but I want you to hear me when I talk to you like this. The DC come out. I didn't bit my tongue for too long trying not to curse. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna let it fly. I mean, them cheering got them cell phones, they hear worse than that. Don't talk about, close your ears, y'all. No. They didn't heard it all. They didn't heard it worse. It's why I gotta get ignorant in order for it to connect? Why? Why I gotta act like that in order for it to connect? In order for it to hit home? And why people always gotta yell to get points across? Pastors do it. Police officers do it. The military do it. All of us do. I'm talking about Niji now. Every time we want to get our point across, we yelling. You know why? Because our people hard of hearing. That's what's going on. It go in one ear and out the other. White folks, on the other hand, yeah, Jimmy, and I don't go across that street because we saw a couple of alligators over there yesterday, and they still may be camping over there. Well, I appreciate that, Tim. I'll take your advice. I'm just going to keep it moving. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll go to the other store. They're going to listen to each other. Our people, they going to mess around and get bit by them alligators. Hard-headed. Darius, I told you not to go over there. Man, but I thought you said that was yesterday. And you know that's true. Because listen, let me tell you how that's true now. Let me tell you how it's true. Because if I was a white male, if I was Caucasian, number one, my following would be huge. Number two, y'all so-called black folk will be listening to me. You know why? Because you hold up his word higher than anybody else. Ain't that bad? Am I lying? I'm talking about if my skin complexion was pale here, I'd be, I'd probably be on Joe Rogan tomorrow. Alex Jones the next day. Fox 5 the day after that. Quit. And I ain't got to yell. I would have to just calm my voice. Well, I mean, the people they don't have to listen to me, but I'm going to be breaking every single thing down. No, the American Negro is the American Indian. They were lied to. The Smithsonian is holding a lot of records, and for some odd reason, the Mormons are holding their records as well. All the way up in Utah, inside of a cave. Okay? And it's all covered up. The cave, the door to the cave, it's steel, built with steel, that can withstand a nuclear bomb. That's right now. And these same people that control the Mormons' records were, of course, that was adopted from those so-called black people's preachers and pastors. They were there at birth and writing everything down. So the Mormons got those records from the preachers and pastors. But those same people own AncestryDNA.com. And then they charged them $300. If I swear to God, if I was pale, y'all would believe me. But just because I'm Niji, that's working against me. And every single one of y'all can relate. Let me tell you how. Your credit, your income, your house, your car, the schools you went to, universities, college, the position you in right now at your job, the position you in right now at your house, all has been affected by the color of your skin. Because we allowed the narrative to shift from a skin complexion didn't matter, humans are humans, to, oh no, this one set skin complexion feel as though they're superior than the other. Well, let's give them a status, title, rank, make them an alpha. And they gonna feel good about themselves. It's more than just a managerial role. It's a position of empowerment that they will feel just because they were given a title. The police officers that don't do their job but think they do their job, as an example, think they are above the law because they're supposed to know the law or enforce the law. But they really supposed to be protecting and serving. Protecting the public and serving the public. All of a sudden, we calling them law enforcers. Titles. You hand somebody a title, they will change. Just like we know for a fact that if you hand somebody a certain amount of money, they will change too. It works the same way. Position, title, rank, making them alpha. In their mindset. I hope you heard me. I'm gonna move on to the rest of the lesson. The last live stream, we were talking about Pocahontas Island in Petersburg, VA. Some of you that may have missed that live stream, that live stream is about 4 hours long. I didn't mean to go that long, but we were having so much fun that, I'm talking about, I got off of that thing and I kept apologizing to my wife. I had to put in some work that night. I'm gonna keep it PG. But the lesson was about Pocahontas Island and how, before we get into Pocahontas, which we are going to go into Pocahontas, but not even this live stream. I'm talking about Pocahontas, the person. This is just to warm you up about a lot of things that's surrounding that story and surrounding that area as far as the Virginia Indians. The reason why that's so important is because the British colonies, British America, its history starts in Virginia. Okay, before they colonized other land masses, like all the way up to New York and all the way down to Florida, all of that territory was called Virginia by way of the Virginia Company, aka the London Company, aka the Virginia Company of London. This is the congregation that was set in place to send out missionaries, those of particular Christian beliefs or practices or whatever, to come over here to preach the gospel to people, to stop them from wanting to revolt or wanting to rebel and accept colonization by way of colonists or settlers that came over here with the Bible in hand, hoping to seek a new home, new land. They call it New World. Literally, I've been saying that for years. This is the reason why they call it, this area, the New World, because it's new to them, not to us. But yeah, so technically they were seeking their own asylum, but in a different territory. Of course, because their people in their original territories, in their motherlands, were enslaved by their own people. Again, this is the reason why the 1790 U.S. Census started out with 3 categories: free white males, 18 years or younger, free white females, 18 years or older, free white females, and all other free. Free. Again, in a couple of my documentaries, I asked you, free from what? Free from who? These folks are running away from their enslavers. Runaway slaves. Slavs. We're going to get into that too, because my wife just put out another one on that note. I know what we didn't tore that thing up a couple of times, but she hit you with it from a different angle on her most recent video. Dane Calloway is the name of her channel, so it could connect. And that's just part 1. She got 2 and 3 coming. Matter of fact, she may be downstairs recording right now, if I'm not mistaken, because I know, no, that was earlier. She was recording earlier, so she may be editing right now. Be on the lookout for that. I mean, this is content that you need to have because you got to know your history and their history as well, so they won't force feed you that bullshit. that BS, bad sociology. We're going to tell the story, not his story, our story. That's our main objective. So going back over it, Pocahontas Island, briefly going over that right now. I'm going to bring that up. And I'm also going to explain to you how there was a guy that was assigned to have been the this is a quote, unofficial mayor of Pocahontas Island by the mayor of Petersburg, Virginia. He was getting ready to leave that area and was brought back by white people, coming out of his own mouth now, who put him in charge of a territory of rural area and ran down houses that was called Pocahontas Island off of Pocahontas and Saponi Street, by the way, in Petersburg, VA. He created a museum in 2003. I'm going to show you who I'm talking about because we're about to play. I'm about to play the video. 1 second. I'm bringing it to it. All right. So this is the area here. The gentleman that I'm talking about is here. Okay. His name is Richard Stewart. 2003 is when this museum was created. And I'm going to show you, hold on really quickly. I'm not trying to move past it. It's right there, right? Okay, here we go. Pocahontas Black History Museum. This is how you know it's bullcrap. As soon as you see the black, and by the way, the sign said oldest black community in the United States, by the way. They know that we were all over this territory, but they got to take control of the narrative. And again, just like I was just stating earlier, people will change if you change their life for them. His life was changed, and he came out of his mouth and said he was given a house and money, and his job is to be the unofficial mayor of Pocahontas Island. He's a plant. He's there to regurgitate the information that they provided to him as far as the history, so-called his story is concerned, dealing with this particular area, give speeches to the community and the visitors that go inside of this house. Literally, it's a house, worn down house, where he's hoarding a whole bunch of, I mean, you tell me what this room looked like, as an example. Chairs, benches, banner, plant. That's just one part of the house. And then he turns around and tells you that these pictures on the wall he took, not necessarily saying that he took them from other people. He was saying that the way that guy positioned that, he said, I understand that you were a photographer. Yes. And did you take these pictures? And he said, yes. Listen, I just want y'all to see the things that he has. He also has a section. Let me move the mic over here. He also has a section right here dealing with the KKK. And I want y'all to see what he got up on the wall. And these white folks that's questioning him, that's asking him, that's what he got up on the wall, asking him, why does he have that? Why is this related to Pocahontas Island? Keep in mind the pictures, the majority of the clippings and the pictures that he's showing is out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And his excuse was that his white friends gave him that. And he said that his white friends specifically asked him not to share this information publicly. So in other words, he also said out of his own mouth that they trust him, that he won't take that information out of his museum and make it public. It would just stay in his museum. And then I turned around and said, wait a minute, but the museum is public. anybody could turn around and take that information outside of the museum and make it public because it's a public museum. So he made up something to make it seem like it was a legit move to do. No, he's being instructed to do this, ladies and gentlemen. And you got to realize also another thing I pointed out is that a lot of you are going to be soft-hearted and be like, well, he's an elder, Dane. He's an elder. And I disagree with you. He's not an elder. He's an old man. Again, elder is another title that a lot of people are misusing right now. In order to earn me saying that you are an elder, you have to earn my respect for that. Just like I got to earn your respect, it works the same way. Age does not matter. It does not matter how long you've been on this earth. You could have been a plant the whole time. That does not mean I have to respect you just because of your age. You see what I'm saying? You could have been a plant the whole time. That does not mean I have to respect you because of your age. Now, if you disagree with me on that note, that's your problem. I'm going to tell you how I am as a man here. I'm the man of my family at my household, okay? And I'm going to tell you how I run things here and how I teach my sons here. I'm going to tell you that right now. You ain't going to tell me how I need to respect a nobody that's actually doing harm to our people and give him the title of an elder. You are out of your mind thinking that I'm going to listen to your advice. You can keep that advice. Go seek a doctor and see if what he gives you about your health is something that you're going to take and run with. The first doctor that you see. But then they tell you that you're supposed to seek advice from multiple doctors, correct? Because one may have diagnosed you or misdiagnosed you. Misdiagnosed you. They work the same way. Because they're providing their advice, which is technically an opinion. They can keep their opinions to themselves. I didn't ask for your opinion. I got to hold you up to a greater standard to say, your opinion matters to me. See? Again, and that's why I tell you, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying because this is my opinion. So if you don't agree with it, oh well. All right? It works the same way. Just because he's up in age and I'm barely not even 40, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't know what he did all of his life. You just know that he has more years. That doesn't matter. But again, they made you think that way. Oh, he's an older gentleman. We got to call him an elder. We got to respect our elders. That terminology is incorrect. That phrase is stupid. Whoever came up with, matter of fact, who came up with that? Who came up with that? My own grandmother and grandfather never stated that. Never. They never said you got to respect you. It's always some stranger saying you got to respect your elders. I respect my grandmother and my grandfather. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's my grandmother and my grandfather. Same thing with my great-grands and great-aunts and you know what I'm saying? Because that's fam. If I don't know you, I may give you a bit of respect out of common courtesy to allow yourself to show me who you are. Once I find out what it is, then I may decide to call you an elder, only if you respect me for who I am. If you disrespect me, I won't ever call you an elder of mine. You don't deserve that title. Number one, elders don't disrespect. They showcase wisdom. It will be wise for them to do so because they are on this earth a lot shorter, right? They have been through things. They want to share wisdom. Fine. That doesn't mean I take that wisdom and run with it, which is the same thing as advice. But I'll sit and listen out of respect. But these type of people, this guy here, That's why they put him in position. Because our people are conditioned to think that since he's an elder and so-called sharing wisdom, they will look past him being looked at as a plant. They're going to automatically assume that he knows what he's talking about because he's in between 60 and 70 years old. That's the gimmick. That's why they put him in place instead of somebody younger. They put him in this position instead of somebody younger. Keep in mind, this was established in 2003, 20 years ago. I want you to get that into your thick skull. He admitted who he's working for. He admitted who helped him. And he admitted who he got this from. But yet, it's going to be people out there, maybe not you, but it's going to be people out there that's going to hold this nigga up high because of his age. When he admitted out of his own mouth that he working for somebody. You're going to look past that. That's not how it worked. When you heard the, y'all remember Brother Coleman, right? Elder Coleman? You heard me call him Elder Coleman, right? Because he respects me and I respect him. I respect him for who he is. He respect me for who I am. Right? Like Elder Rosson. Y'all remember Elder Rosson? I shared him a couple times on my channel and also shared his videos. Right? Out of Louisiana. The respect, when I call him Elder, is for a reason. Here. It's for a reason. I don't do that to everybody that's of age. I'm gonna say that one, this is the last time. You gotta earn that respect just as well as I do. Just as well as I do. When I see you there mentally, when I see you there physically, when I see that you are hold on, no, this is an elder, then I'm gonna call you that. When you fit that criteria, yeah. If you notice, every person of entitlement or every person that's holding some type of rank, some type of position that has a title, what do they have in common? They have a job to do. That's in common. That's what they have in common. Whether it be good or bad or neutral. Like, for example, the term leader. I'm just saying the neutral part. The term leader. The reason why we can't necessarily consider the so-called older people of this generation that's still here within this generation as leaders is because they still ain't surpassed what, for example, Malcolm X did. As a leader. I'm just saying, let that sink in. New generation, who? Who we pointing at? Like, that's a leader. That's what I'm saying. And don't forget that they are able to still put people in position that look good, sound good, right? That are actually there to bring you down. Exhibit A. Now, I'm going to go over this. I'm not going to stay on that elder title. I made my point. If you don't like how I made my point, and I tried to do it in so many different ways for you to understand. If you don't understand what I'm saying, goodbye, okay? I don't need you around. If you so stuck on that note, goodbye. I'm not here to belittle myself and bring myself down to your level, okay? It's not gonna happen. Just to fit you. Again, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to provide the truth. I'm not here to cater just to you and to your liking. No, that's not how it works. Pocahontas is a pony, by the way. We know this is brand new. I went over this as well. Department of Historic Research 2015, Pocahontas Island. I want you to understand how this town of Pocahontas was established in 1752 and became a part of Petersburg years later at 1784. Now, I also showed you all who created this story right here, which is a white woman. And I showed you that she just passed this year, September 1st, 2023. Briefly go over this really quickly. Her name is Mary Ellen Bushy. Mary Ellen Bushy. Here she is. And she just recently passed September 2023, just in case you thought I was lying. She's the one that created this. How do I know that? That's because this is the same historic marker and she's accredited with it. Mary Ellen Bushy, and they also gave Ann Zoller credit in 1994. Okay, in 1994. So I'm not knocking her. She got hired to write a story just like writers are hired all the time to write stories for books, movies, short films, you name it, right? So I can't knock her for doing her job. I mean, see what I'm saying? See how that go? Of course, they're going to hire people and it's going to change people's lives when money get involved. But you don't know how it's affecting our people. And just because somebody wrote it don't mean it is truthful. Just because somebody wrote it don't mean that it's truthful. Just because it sound good, look good, don't mean that it's right. Okay. Also, we went to, after this, we went into the topic of the Underground Railroad. And the reason why is because they brought that up. They were trying to use that, and I think that's why I stopped off at. They were trying to use that to explain some of the underground places that were inside of one or two of the houses on this particular property, which was approximately like 70 acres that was given to him. By the way, they gave it to him. Gave him 70 acres and that house where he built the museum. And did I show that? Did I show y'all that house? Hold on, let me quickly, hold on. Wait, not that. I want to show y'all that house to show y'all what, I mean, for real. Nah, I'm not trying to make fun of nobody, but I just want y'all to see how these houses look. Okay, all right. And I'm not trying to make fun of nobody, but I want you to know the area. And look, and he holding up a chain. Oh man, I don't want to start this back. We already did that on part one, y'all. It's so much with that. Yeah, they talked about Nat Turner too. Hold on, but I want y'all to see what that area looked like really quick. What that museum looked like. Hold on. Yeah, that's the inside of the museum. Oh man. Yeah, that's it. Okay. But it's a better picture than that. But it's beside a boarded up house. And I mean, you know, it's just horrible. Man, I want to grab that picture real quick. Real quick. I'm gonna pop back up. Nah, I forgot where I should have wrote down that mark to find out where it was located. But it showed you what it looked like. Oh, I know where, hold on, I know where it's at. I know where it's at. It just popped up on me. Man, thanks to my ancestors, shout out to the creator. I'm glad that happened. They said, no, right here. I got it. So let me play this real quick, and it's right. There it is. Oh man, go back. Go back. Hold on. I'm moving quick. I just passed it. I want y'all to see that. That's very important though. Look at that. Look, hold on, but that was the picture, but look at that. This is a kitchen. Stove, microwave, coffee pot. This is the kitchen. Oh man, this is not a museum, y'all. It's just not. And it's not It's not fair that my people will fall for something like this. This is the house that they, made into a museum. This is the house that they gave him too. So he's living inside of it, And yeah, it's right next to a boarded up house. And this area is, it's a rural area, but a lot of the stuff is ran down. Now, they're also going to say that a lot of stuff was removed due to a storm. We're going to get into that one today as well. So I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to bring this back up because I want to go to the part about the where we left off about the Underground Railroad. And I'm going to briefly explain to you as far as this part is concerned, how they were going to mention that this was part of the Underground Railroad. People were hiding up under houses away from the white folks, not trying to get caught. That's what he was explaining. Okay. They had a lady up in here that was a graduate of Norfolk University, which is the high yellow lady right here. And she I believe she mastered in history, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'm recalling it correctly. And she's also a part of the African Studies Association. I believe she's the director of that, right? So we already know that she has the Afrocentric agenda in mind. So she wants to carry along the so-called traditional history that we are used to, that we're being taught throughout these colleges and universities, and even in, regular public schools. So she's there to try to set the record straight on certain things that he was saying, debunking him. Okay. But she was also putting in her own propaganda based off of the stories that she was given. But matter of fact, let's start from right here. I think this would be good.
Areas, so you have Ohio, and then you have all the northern areas, and everybody claims that their house or this house is part of the Underground Railroad. And so what they found was that many of them were used during Prohibition, that a lot of these cellars were actually, and tunnels were actually there for Prohibition, as, secreting the liquor as opposed to existing prior to that. So my first thought is, do an archaeological dig, see how old that space is, see how old the fireplace is. That will be a first clue, because not always are you going to have, and especially with the Underground Railroad, not always are you going to have our documents to prove anything.
It's hard to say about the Underground Railroad. It came through here because most of it was our oral history. And if you ever read about history of Richmond, you look at where some of the slaves ran. They ran towards Petersburg. Why did they come towards Petersburg? It was easy out of the Appomattox River than probably going out to James. And they couldn't go to the mountains, so something about Petersburg, it was easy to leave Petersburg. And where they're gonna camouflage you at? Where you gonna sleep at night?
The South was a police state during the period of slavery. And this is what people don't understand. You did not.
And she contradicted herself right there. She said the South was a police state at the time of slavery. And no, it wasn't. In fact, the police wasn't in large mass. And I remember I was going over this during the last live stream. I was telling you that you didn't see police officers. You saw sheriffs of particular counties. And then they had, they had the main sheriff, then they had a deputy sheriff, and maybe like some sheriff in training. And that was it, especially back then. And also, according to the, those so-called old Western movies, all you saw was sheriffs, right? It was either sheriffs or U.S. Marshals. Now, the U.S. Marshals had to deal with the federal government. The majority of the U.S. Marshals were the Niji. They were Niji. They hired, you gotta, in order to seek or go into territories with other Niji, you got to hire a Niji to go there. Of course, now you got to replace the Niji with Indian, because only an Indian will be allowed to go in Indian territory, especially at that time, because they could, risk their life by allowing, risk the life of a Caucasian by allowing him or telling him to go do the population count as far as the numerators are concerned. Don't forget, the original numerators were the U.S. Marshals. So, I mean, they can't just put strangers in place in our territories like that and think they could get away with that. They're more liable to get killed. So they had to put us in position, our people, the Niji in position to carry those particular titles, to go in these territories for that reason. As far as police concerned, the way she said it, no. Police departments did not exist. You're only talking about U.S. Marshals and sheriffs only. And they did not exist in all counties, like as if you may think it is right now, like how it is right now, rather. Like every county got their own police department and sheriff department, but that's not how it was back then. Number one, these counties, not all of these counties existed. Number two, there was no such thing as cars and all the rest of that. You know, I mean, they getting around in horse and buggy, if that, you know, and train. So it wasn't no police departments running the South. That's not how it went. I mean, you only had sheriffs and U.S. Marshals. So she's not creditable neither, but we'll go.
Not have the right to speak out against that. Think about the story of the Keziah.
In 1858, the schooner Keziah was secretly smuggling 5 slaves to freedom via the Underground Railroad. According to local lore, the men boarded the ship from Pocahontas Island.
Well, everything went as planned. But as his captain was sailing out the Appomattox River, he got stuck on a sand barge. And getting stuck on a sand barge, he couldn't get it off. And when the inspectors came down and inspected, they discovered a way how we were running the Underground Railroad. What we did, false bottoms and boats.
Now, I want y'all to understand how confident and comfortable he is with regurgitating this information. It's because he's been doing it for longer than 20 years. Well, 20 years. Because it was started in 2003. So you got to understand that he's comfortable by now with telling these stories, but never giving you, and same thing with the other lady, never giving you no receipts, no nothing to match up with their claims at all. At all. And people that be standing against the information that I provide tell me that I don't provide no receipts, and that's bullshit, because otherwise my information will be invalid if I didn't provide any receipts, any evidence to my claims. I dare you to check my receipts. I dare you to check my evidence. I dare you to check my research. I cross-reference everything. I throw that out there all the time. Like, are you kidding me? It wouldn't be no point of me saying anything without giving you where I got it from. Look, here, wait a minute, y'all. This is what I discovered, because otherwise we going off of word of mouth, and that's not what I'm if I'm here to combat information that we were, and which I am, I'm here to combat the information that we were given by way of anonymous writers of American history. I'm trying to tell you what exactly in detail what happened on all spectrums. Okay, my wife and I have been doing that for years now, and it hasn't been one time where I didn't give you my research. That's not how it worked. But again, when you're listening to this, you know, this gentleman here, I'm just letting y'all know that he's a plant, straight up. And when you're listening to this plant here, and he's telling you a particular story as if he was there, and you're going to believe it just because of his age, but when you think about his age doesn't match up with that year that he's referring to. So with him giving descriptive details as to what happened, that means that is created. That's the word for it is conceptualism. That's the word. Conceptualism. So he's painting the picture for you vividly, but in your mindset, so your imagination could take care of the rest of the loopholes that were created. That's what he's there to do. That's another part of indoctrination. You got to understand this, y'all. Regardless, it may be a hard pill for you to swallow, but you're going to learn today.
William Bayless and his shipmate Simpkins and those 5 enslaved people when they were brought to Petersburg, there were thousands of people that waited, and they were, of course, white, waited for them. They were screaming that they should be lynched, that they should be killed.
See, look at the story. Again, they also trying to paint the picture as if we were the victims of a lot of different things. I'm not saying that we were not, But I'm just saying the way that was descriptive. She said thousands of whites, Caucasians were waiting. Well, how do you know? What are their names? Where did they originally come from? Well, I mean, tell me first and last name. How old were they? Where were they located exactly? Where did they live before they came to Petersburg? But when they give you the story, that part doesn't matter. This is the reason why I'm trying to let you, I'm doing the reverse indoctrination to attempt to make you question everything that was ever given to you.
That they should be destroyed in some way. Imagine the
right after that
they were facing.
Right after that, imagine. Listen.
There were thousands of people that waited, and they were, of course, white, waited for them. They were screaming that they should be lynched, that they should be killed, that they should be destroyed in some way. Imagine.
Wow.
The furor that they were facing from these mobs that could at any point in time overpower the police force that was supposed to be protecting them and at least give them the opportunity to have a trial. And so this kind of environment was very hostile to anyone. I mean, in the minds of the mob, they were guilty until proven innocent.
Did that change how you operated the Underground Railroad around here after that?
That sort of changed a little bit how we operate the Underground Railroad, but we always had a certain means. If you see, one thing you never heard people talk about: why do they call it Underground Railroad? Anybody ever thought about why they call it the Underground Railroad? We ain't had no Underground Railroad. We had subways in New York, and that wasn't back then during the day. How this thing came about, they depict a slave sitting on back of a train going into Canada under the border. Now, if you look at most plantations, what run by most plantations? Railroads and rivers. So a lot of your slaves started escape through railroad and all that kind of stuff. Tied them on the bottom of rail cars, understanding how it was. So a lot of your slaves escaped from the Underground Railroad by railroad. A lot of the message, you take a lot of the slaves that worked on the railroad, gave message about what was going on. Like when they hit, ain't gonna be long, I'll be gone, and all this. They actually told a message when they were working on the railroad. You didn't know that, did you? Yeah. Actually working on that railroad, that's what a lot of your songs came from. Tell old John, won't be long, we be going on home, look out. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Like a message hidden in plain sight.
That's right, a message. Just like down on that river there, they would say that you could tell when a movement was gonna go. When they started singing, won't be long, for I be gone. Swing low, stereo, old Joe getting out here. They would actually pick a message was in the song of when the railroad, Underground Railroad was in movement. It tells you the song. It's written in the song.
So a popular story in the 1990s was that African Americans used quilts to not only give signals about the Underground Railroad, whether it was safe to flee or whatever, where to meet, what the path was, and that people would be putting these quilts out, telling these stories. And I remember going to an Underground Railroad conference and in early 2000 and asking some of my colleagues, what is this all about? I've never heard of this particular story. And they didn't know either. I had never uncovered any reference to any quilts ever in all the research I had done. And I should say it was maybe in the mid-1990s, early 2000 that came out. Because this was about in 2005, 2006. I was at a conference where we were talking about this. And about a year or two later, one of my colleagues published an article really uncovering the myth that it started out by this author as a children's story. And then it became popular, and then there was this exhibit, this traveling exhibit, debut at the Smithsonian, a big book, full colored, all these things, and it was all a lie.
Now, of course, once again, I want y'all to understand her objective is to put the Africana agenda out there. But they can't match that up with the quotes that our ancestors were creating, not only to talk about the routes of the Underground Railroad, but the quotes were telling particular stories. And the reason why I know that was true is because I said this in my last live stream. My grandmother did that as well. My grandmother created her own quilts, and she was also a painter and a writer, published painter and published writer, by the way. But her quotes were magnificent. I mean, people were offering her thousands of dollars for her quotes because they were beautiful. They were really vibrant and beautiful, but that's indigenous to this land. A lot of our older or elders of the families created quilts, male and female, but usually it was females that were doing that. But again, with them just saying that that was about the underground or tied to the Underground Railroad routes, that was not the only thing. It was telling stories in general. What was on their mind? Keep in mind, the quilts you were creating a picture, okay? And the quilts can get as large as a king-size bed, California king-size bed. I won't ever forget that. My grandmother and my grandfather slept on a California king-size bed, and one of her main quilts were on the bed that she created. I will never forget that. Beautiful quilts. But yeah, it's like painting a picture. So of course they never heard of that. I mean, she's not from, now she could be from Virginia, but she could be from a family that did not experience that. Like, for example, a lot of the people in the past that were in the 1960s that were trying to get involved in the civil rights movement, a lot of those people did not experience racism or any form of racism within their territories. But they were trying to make pretend as if that was happening to every one of us. Like, for example, lynching. They were trying to explain how lynching happened all over America, and it did not. It only happened in specific areas. Same thing with what is it called? The colored only, white only, that part. That didn't happen as well in all states neither, or not in the entire state. It could have been in this particular county or that particular county. Okay, and the rest of it was free, like meaning everybody could join. It wasn't separated. Okay, everybody did not experience the same thing. And I exposed that a long time ago, especially when the fact that we know now as to the reason why a lot of the people of the 1960s were able to afford college is because they made it free. And a lot of people are not trying to state that because it also exposes as, the reason why the government made that free, because they wanted to use those children, and I'm calling them children, but the young adults of the college and university era of that 1960s to promote that movement, the so-called, it was before Malcolm X, before Stokely Carmichael's Black Power movement. It was Martin Luther King's, what was his movement? It was called, the nonviolent movement. But it was called something specifically. Damn it. And I have that in one of my videos as well. It was a nonviolent approach. And my wife showed y'all that they had pamphlets as well. That was in her, was it in her last video or the video before that? No, I think it was in her last video. And we also showed you how they gave pamphlets to the college students, university students out in California. And that sparked off those race riots. But they were teaching him. I'm trying to remember Martin Luther King's name of his movement, because it wasn't the nonviolent. No, not SNCC. Not SNCC. SNCC is the subdivision of his main movement. But I'm trying to think of the name. Nah, SNCC is a branch. That wasn't the main one. God damn it. It's gonna come to me in a second. Watch it come to me in a second. But either way, that was that same thing happened as far as that particular era in the 1960s, where they utilized the college students. This is the reason why she is explaining why she never heard of that, and all of her colleagues never heard of that. The reason why is because y'all didn't experience that. Yeah, Southern Conference leadership. No, Southern something that is close. That's close. No, Levante's right. Freedom Now. That's it. Freedom Now. It went from Freedom Now to Black Power. That's it. It was the Freedom Now. But the SCLC was his organization. It was. That's true. The SCLC was his organization, but the movement was called Freedom Now. That is correct. It went from Freedom Now to Black Power. Black Power movement. Freedom Now, Black Power. That is absolutely correct. 100%. But again, a lot of those people, and then, what's crazy is the 1960s. I want y'all to put this together now. The 1960s. Have y'all ever asked those people that were of that time period how they were able to get in college? Some of you may say, some of them may say that that their parents had money or they got a loan. But keep in mind that loan made that stuff free. That's what my wife and I was trying to explain to y'all. They didn't have to pay a dime. It was a free ride. And the reason why is because they wanted to manipulate the children at that time to push that Black Power movement and get involved with politics for desegregation. It got bigger. The civil rights movement was all about desegregation. Listen, and look, and y'all remember I showed y'all how John Lewis, he wasn't the only one. A lot of people, even Stokely Carmichael told y'all, came out and said that all of the elders lost their lands, lost their house, lost their jobs, lost their farms because of the hard-headed, but they didn't know that the government had an agenda. But the college students, university students at that time accepted that Black Power movement, ran with it, and then they end up becoming electors, becoming voters. Malcolm X told y'all not to become Democrats. Everybody wanted to run with the Dixiecrats and the Democrats, and here we are now. And that same, well, actually it's worse. That the predicament is worse, a lot worse now. A lot worse. Not one thing was passed during that time period for our benefit. Not one thing. Like, for example, when we hold up the Black Panthers, we holding up the Black Panthers up high. I mean, and this is no disrespect to nobody, but real talk, what did they do for us? Other than cause more confusion. Real talk. We got to be real. We didn't get one law in place for us to benefit from. That's real talk. Like, I'm talking about listen, real talk. The Black Panthers didn't do a thing for us. That was worse. When we came out there showcasing guns, that we had the freedom to, showcase weapons and stuff like that, that didn't do nothing. That made us look bad. Just like right now, when them young brothers in them videos, music videos that y'all going at, what they showcasing? The same thing. Money to the ear, guns up in the sky. It's the same thing, ain't it? Look now. Now, Fred Hampton was somebody totally different. Fred Hampton was about to change the whole. They knew Fred Hampton. Don't get me started, Levante. They knew Fred Hampton was about to go somewhere to the next level, okay, when it came to leadership. I'm talking about beyond Black Panthers. And, he had the mindset to be a young leader and steer everybody in the right direction. They took him out immediately. They heard what he was saying. And how many people was getting behind him quick. Not only the Niji now, He had everybody. His following was about to be as big as Martin Luther King's and Malcolm X's combined. Fred Hampton was about to go sky high. And he don't get enough respect because a lot of our people don't know about what Fred Hampton did and what his agenda was. I may even have to create a documentary on Fred Hampton by himself. He do deserve it. But they killed him. They assassinated him in his own house. And notice how they always do that in front of the children. They got rid of Malcolm X in front of his children. Martin Luther King in front of his children on television. All right, okay, anyway, when it's about liberating your people for real, you're a target. This is the reason why they try to do other things right now, because social media is so broad. They know for a fact that they just can't get rid of that person right away that has a following. Like, is meaning assassination. They got to do something else. Well, what is that? What's close to that? Censorship. Keep it quiet. Keep it low. Keep it discreet. Keep it under the radar. To the point where nobody can reach it. Nobody can see it. You know? You got to go through loops and bounds just to see it. That's the new tactic. See? That's the new tactic. Censorship. Yeah, and then character assassination. Character assassination as well. That's always there. That's the reason why they tried to belittle me, character assassinate me. I went through it. I'm talking about all them boule people. They were coming after me. Big time. Big time. And still asking me, still to this day, to join them. Still to this day, to join them. To join them. If this was all about money, I would have been gone, y'all. Millions of dollars. I would have been gone. Big house in California. I'm talking about big house. 14 mil. No cap. I mean, I got the pictures that they sent and everything. They will call you, email you, harass your phone, call you from private numbers. I know who they are. Some of y'all may say the Illuminati, you know, I know what y'all gonna say. But I wouldn't even consider the illuminated ones. Because the original illuminated ones were standing against the Catholics because of their own religious belief. This is deeper than that now. They all working together. They all working together. They in bed together. I've been pointing these niggas out. And what's crazy is that they look like you and I. You wouldn't tell a difference. You can't tell. They purposely are doing that. They're disguised as real, like they really for our people. And they freaking not. And they not. If Steve Coakley, and I'm gonna tell you what they poisoned Steve Coakley. Let me tell you the truth. They poisoned Steve Coakley. They poisoned Dick Gregory. They poisoned Dr. Sebi. And all three of them called their deaths out. Didn't they? All of them knew it. All of them knew it. We got the recording of Martin Luther King calling his death out. We got the recording of Malcolm X calling his death out. We noticed that. They knew what time it was. But see, this is the reason why I said this time around, you got to make it harder. It got to be more than one leader. That's how you make it harder. It got to be more than one person on the same page as a leader, displaying that leadership role. Because you may be able to take out one or two of us, but you ain't going to be able to take out 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million. It ain't a domino effect when you that strong. It's only a domino effect when you lined up in a certain order. We could be coordinated, But we got to be in every position. That's why I said it's the key that we have to have everything. Let me see. All right, hold on. Let me get back to this. I know I'm going further because you said, Levante, you said Fred Hampton, but I'm just saying. I'm going to do a doc. I promise. I'm going to do a doc on Fred. He deserved it. He deserved it. That was one of the realest ones ever. Matter of fact, drop a bomb for him. All right, here we go.
And I still encounter a lot of people who have heard about and believe the quilt myth. But the issue about the Underground Railroad is that if you did something all the time and the same way, people would see. Petersburg in the antebellum period had about 4,000 people who were black in that city. And there were a lot of whites in that city who did not want their property to leave. That meant, in some of their cases, that meant the difference between poverty and wealth, between being able to eat and not being able to eat. And so they held on to their slaves with all their might. And so the issue really is that if somebody is leaving, all the documents show that whites the cities hired night watchmen. They invested a lot of money in trying to ensure that those enslaved people did not leave.
Hold up. This how you know she lying. She said that they she said antebellum. She said antebellum. But she also said that they invested a lot of money to ensure that the slaves did not leave. Again, I told you slavery was employment. Employment wasn't nothing else. You could not stop a person. I'm going to repeat this again because I know I said this on my last live stream. I'm not going to stay on it long. You cannot stop a person from leaving their job and going to another one. I don't care who you hired. You cannot catch a person leaving, not escaping, leaving in Virginia. And I'm going to say, now I'm from D.C., born and raised. Now, I've been in Virginia a lot of times because Virginia ain't too far away from D.C. and neither is Maryland here. I'm talking about Virginia State alone is huge. Listen, I'm going to stress this issue. We're going to move on. Huge. There's no way that you're going to catch somebody back then, not now, back then in rural Virginia that got a head start on your ass and you ain't got no car, no GPS, no satellite. Nigga, a telescope ain't gonna catch that. You gotta wait for a train, hop on a horse. Ain't no way in the world. You are not going to be able to catch anybody in Virginia that's tired of your bullshit here. This is how you know they lying about slavery. Because they were not, again, they were not chained, shackled in the field. They were not chained, shackled in a shack where they lived. They could have got the fuck up out of there at any given time. For example, one so-called slave master, one supervisor. The supervisor might got one shotgun on a horse compared to like 10 to 50 slaves that they got allegedly working on a field, working on a building, working on I don't care what they working on. If it was me and 40 of y'all, it's gonna be me and 40 of y'all whooping that one nigga with the shotgun. number one. Take the nigga horse, run back to the house, go to the slave master, cock that shotgun back, and it's over.
Sniper!
And lay claim to the house, nigga. You gonna mean to tell me that's what actually happened? That wouldn't happen right now. Makes you think that's gonna happen back then. That wouldn't happen right now. You ain't got no type of technology back then. Ain't gonna be no reporter waiting to write that story. Ain't gonna be no police pulling up because they heard that shotgun shot. You in rural Virginia, where it ain't no street light. When it's dark, it's dark. Ain't no flashlight. You mean to tell me we wouldn't smarten up and be like, you know what? I'm tired of working for... Nah, that's how you know that they was treating their employees with special care. Here. Because they ain't have to work for them. That I'm gonna tell you again. That was not forced. If it was, go get the manumission slip that your ancestor has proving that they were enslaved. Or I want you to go get some paperwork proving that your ancestors was working for somebody, because that's what you may find. And then I want you to tell me who that person was that they was working for. 80% of the time, your folks was working for your own folks. Dane, you wrong. That's not how it worked. Prove me wrong. That's how it worked. Prove it. Go see if your ancestors worked for some white folks. When them white folks was foreigners and ain't had shit coming over here. You mean to tell me we gonna give up our land, give up our houses, give up our way of living to some foreigners and say, here, y'all can have it? We'll work for y'all? Just like how it is right now, is how it is back then. If I decide to get up and leave right now, I'm going to end up becoming a tenant in another state, right? In order for me to pay my bill as a tenant, I got to work, right? I'm going to work for somebody at a job that I know I could do, right? Regardless if it's making a good living, I got to live. Now, that's one thing we can all agree upon. That part right there. There's no way that anybody could work for free, listen, and live. You might could work for cheap and live, but not for free. So anytime you hear somebody say that our ancestors was working in the fields for free, they are lying. They're lying. And I want you to walk up on that person and be like, prove it. Prove it. Because ain't nobody working for free right now. See how I'm telling you, again, they want to make pretend like the story is we are the victim. If we were the victim, why are we not getting nothing from the government that know we the victim? They just handing us the story. They made that shit up, said that we the victim. But then they got to turn around and study it some more? And then tell you, wait, well, we got to study before we hand you anything? Meanwhile, Ukraine and got like 6 billion. Afghan got, listen, every single country of another continent get paid annually by this government right here. Annually. And anybody that suffered through a Holocaust got paid. We ain't get nothing. Is that by choice? Or is it because somebody lying? Again, they want you to think that you're the victim, but they know you're not going to act on that. They know you're not going to act on that. The most you're going to do is scream, holler, yell, move on to the next day. That's what they banking on. But let it be 500 of our people go check their records real quick. Do genealogy on their ancestors to see if they can find some records where it indicates that their ancestors were not being paid as they worked for somebody. I'm just saying. As they worked for somebody. I dare you to find that. I dare you. Because then you're going to have an argument. Because look, if that actually happened, listen, y'all, look how long it's been. If that was actually true, then how come the people in the 1960s and 1970s ain't go grab them same records and run to the government like, our ancestors ain't get paid at this time? That would have been happened. You owe us this amount. But keep in mind, every congregational committee or society that they create got to study, right? Right or wrong? They got to study. You mean to tell me you came up with Afro-American studies, African-American studies, black social studies, all inside of the school, was able to give us that curriculum, teach it to white folks first, then later on to us. Years later, you got to still study the same issues as if something changed?
Niggas need to wake up, wake up, wake up.
I'm going to let that shit sink in. I'm going to let that shit sink in here. And this is what our people suffering from right now. A whole bunch of lies was told to us for a reason. For a reason. They know who the real owners are of this land. Of course they're not going to tell you. Because that means bye-bye to them. And who is them, Dane? The government. I keep telling y'all who it is. It's foreign. This is why they only look out for the best interests of other foreigners. Borders wide the fuck open. They letting them in here. Why? Not only to help them out, but that's also going to bring up their numbers of that false identity called white. Again, you do not have to have pale skin in order to be deemed as white as your status by the U.S. government, by the U.S. Census, as of the day it started and still today. So, of course, the graph on the U.S. Census is going to show you that there's more whites than so-called blacks. The reason why is because all of the foreigners are considered whites, no matter their skin complexion. Again, this has nothing to do with your skin complexion. It has all to do with either you are in agreement with this government, fall in line to the statuses they create, or you go get your own. What is the solution, Dane? The solution is the last part I just said, goddammit. Go get your own. Why can't we do that? Some of our people think it's impossible. How? How is it impossible? We ain't never tried. How is it impossible if we ain't never tried recently? Hold on, let me correct that. Because we've done it in the past. Multiple times. And I'm talking about very successful. Very. Extremely successful. How you think she here? High Yella. How you think she in this position? High Yella. Huh? I can't believe y'all people holding up pieces of paper. Look, that's another title they gave you. As if that's the accomplishment. And they're going to turn around and believe the lie and allow them to state that it's more of the needy women that's going through colleges and universities more so than the needy men. Never showed you a bit of evidence, but everybody running with it. And again, why does that matter? That's society changing the narrative, controlling the narrative. They never showed love to our needy women before. Why now? Because they know they can manipulate the whole generation by keeping the needy men and the needy women separated. Y'all can recall just a few years ago how our own people, matter of fact, they still do this for real, how our own people look down on their own people by way of what type of hue their brown is. Oh, she dark brown skin, so she gonna act like this. Oh, she light brown skin, she gonna act like this. Remember? Light skin act like this, dark skin act like that. Another form of separation here. Am I lying? Am I lying? Oh, he acting light skinned today. Huh? And who came up with this agenda? I see you, Murray. Somebody, you said Willie Lynch. GM Clinton said, hold up, go back. Colorism. Yeah, that's a form of indoctrination, love of truth. Oh, yeah. Indoctrination goes way deeper than what people assume today. Way deep. Yeah, the red bone. Notice I call her High Yella. But all in all, we got to call each other black right after that. Ain't no such thing as a light and dark black, is it? Show me a light black, y'all. I dare you. Light black. It don't work. I'm just saying, let it click. Let it click. Right, that would be more like gray. It go from black to gray to, look, from gray, light gray to white. Sounds like gray. Yes, that's what this is, RGJ. Thank you. Divide and conquer tactic. That's what originally, that's what this was about. Originally, divide and conquer. They had to get the mind first and manipulate the people because we were together at one point. And she talking about something they spent millions of dollars on police. No, they spent billions of dollars on particular people to navigate the agenda, to stir it the way the so-called elite or the 1% wants it to go. As far as the 1% is concerned, they don't care what color you are. As far as your skin complexion, they just want you to die. Why is something that we use to lower our blood pressure down a particular company that makes this specific kind of apple cider vinegar, listen, that our ancestors have been using for years, that will calm people's blood pressure down? Why did Bill Gates buy the company to change the formula? Wait, did I just answer it by mistake? Bill Gates bought the company to change the formula. What is the reason behind you not controlling your blood pressure? That's right, Braggs. Y'all can look this up. He bought up all this farmland. For what? Why is he so invested in agriculture now? Why was he so invested in mosquitoes? Why was he so invested in something that they could stick into you? He's responsible for hiring technicians to create Microsoft. We could call him a dummy for real, because it wasn't him that had the tech brain. But then we could call him, what, intelligent? Because he learned how to create a company and hired the tech brains to create his product? Yeah, he's the founder of the company, not the technology. You ain't think about that, did you? See how we holding these fools up high? For no reason? You'll hold a person up high because they got money. We got to respect him. He's a millionaire. No, huh? Society leading us astray. We got to control this narrative. What's the point, Dane? I'm telling you, we got to control this narrative. We got to be in control of not only just the narrative. Y'all got to be aware of what type of distractions are put out there. Y'all got to be aware of why something the Niji used to control their blood pressure. Bill Gates bought the company to change the formula. They was begging our people to go get them shots. Well, I mean, we need to test to see. Test to see? I'm not your guinea pig. Our people fall right for, here, take me. Then they offered our people money. Some people needed it. They fell for it. The solution, we got to stop this. We got to control the narrative. We got to control everything about us. I'm telling you, if we had our own government and everything else, top, bottom, branches of the government, it wouldn't be none of that. And I'm talking about right here. We can have it right here in America. Right here. Ain't no rule stating that we can't. Right here in America. We ain't got to go nowhere. If anything, they got to go. They knew that stuff happened in Wuhan, but still allow people from that area to come over here. They knew what was going on, and then all of a sudden, years later, they admitted it. Like they didn't know at first. Come on, bro. Fauci is not in jail. And they got the nerve to call us thugs and everything else like that. But when it comes to Bill Gates, he's a philanthropist. Fauci, he's the doctor. Nah. We got to control the narrative. And that goes for the little vloggers and bloggers out there, too, that's supposed to be needy. That's always wanting to promote our people at their downtimes, going through something. That's all they got to do. It's controversial. They want to spark up the drama. Barely posting anything great about our people. Barely. But yeah, we holding them up high, too. That's where we get our news from. The Shade Room. The Say Cheese and all the rest of them ain't by the way. All of those people is ran by people that were born outside of America. Vlad paying people to be interviewed. He ain't got nothing to do with our culture. I never seen him pick up a record and scratch it. I don't see how he's a DJ. I'm not saying that Caucasians can't be within our culture, but they shouldn't be the forerunners. You got to go to run an Adam 22 for an interview. What about the Breakfast Club, dang? That's iHeartRadio. That ain't Charlemagne and Envy. And both of them gay. So, of course, they're going to keep the people out there in the forefront and make our people look like fools. That's who they're going to keep, and keep paying them, too. And keep paying them. It's Jews running the record labels. Yeah, it is. Not only the record labels, but the whole music industry. The whole film industry, Hollywood, that too. All of the arts and entertainment, something that we actually are A++ in, we do not control. We do not control. We need to make our own YouTube, y'all. Who gonna do it? Ain't nobody look up how. Did they? Ain't nobody managed to look up how Google did it, how YouTube did it, Instagram, Facebook. But yet, if it's on Netflix, you're going to watch it. Of course, they're going to give you the sugar-coated version. They're not trying to put you in position of power. It's always starting off with a broke college student, then he end up becoming a millionaire based off of an idea that was stolen from a needy. It won't ever fail. It won't ever fail. This is the reason why they created the census in 1790. Then the patent office the very next year. They saw as many ideas as we had floating all the way around. Wait a minute, let me say that I made that. Huh? You're going to learn tonight. I don't care if you going to learn tonight. This it right here. You go from the census to the patent office the very next year. And what, they just, I'm talking about they in poverty. Them foreigners that was coming over here and they got the great idea? No, that's not how it worked. The great ideas was already in place. The patent office was just a patent. The copyrights. Well, I have a right to copy this. I gotta, Uh-oh. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. See? I dare you. Go get, y'all, listen. Go get him. Go get him. My wife could do my hair. I could get all dog. Go get him. Whatever platform you want me on, tell him. Put me on there. Tell them. Go get Dane Calloway. Tell him. No, forget it. Do it. Tell him. And blow him up. Blow him up. I'm going to talk just like this. And I'm going to make sure that they not going to cut me off. Guaranteed. They're going to hear me. They're going to hear me. Whoever y'all want, tell them. Tweet them, blow them up. Blow them up. Whatever you got to do, Instagram, tweet, whatever. Get on their nerves. I got your back. Your side and your front. I'm gonna wear indigenous wear too, by the way. Not just some jeans and a shirt. Guaranteed. I ain't talking about your regular headdress and, the stuff that all the rest of them foreigners been using. I ain't talking about that. Every tribe wearing the same. That's not even a tribe. They're nations. Every nation wears the same thing? No. That's not how it works. Okay, another story. Let's keep it moving.
So there was so much effort. There was so much money invested in trying to make sure that these enslaved people did not leave. That if you had one location...
Yeah, if they heard rumors that they're always helping free
yes,
blacks escape,
yes.
then they would...
And especially in areas where free blacks concentrated, they were under surveillance all the time.
How?
Someone told me years ago.
They were under surveillance all the... How? Nick, how? Allegedly antebellum time? No. No. Who?
It has 1,000 eyes. How many eyes does the daytime have? And so when you think that people see a lot, even at night, and especially in small towns or small cities or communities, there can't be a lot of things happening at the same time or in the same way without it, without some suspicion emerging that maybe these individuals are guilty.
When I close to them places,
indoctrination,
home some of the properties, it still feel like it's the rite of passage to me that I'm still running the Underground Railroad of history. We are still discovering the Underground Railroad through history. My museum is in the route of the Underground Railroad. It's a rite of passage. They have told me, you got to look out. This is my responsibility, what I'm doing right now. I was chosen to do this.
All right, now here we go. This is the part where I left the last time on the last live stream. I was telling you all that, notice how they showing you a railroad that's going to the right. But I was telling you technically that the Underground Railroads doesn't necessarily mean that it was always underground, but they did exist. There was a railroad that pre-existed foreigners' arrival that was already here. And how do we know this? Because the new railroad that they made our ancestors build, because they didn't know how to do it, we had to run in parallel with the existing railroads. And here they are right here. And this don't ever fail. This don't ever fail. You could go anywhere in America, and I'm talking about go into the rural areas where these train tracks are located. Guaranteed there's always another older one that is not in use. Okay? Not only are they rerouting because they couldn't go, show you guys that they were being ran through the mounds and the mountains that our ancestors created, they got to reroute it. That's the reason why you can't take this track no more. And this is all the time. South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. You name it. North, South, east, west, you name it. Midwest too. This is everywhere. This is everywhere. So just because it says underground does not mean that it was underground all the time. I mean, just like how people say right now, low key, that's what they're referring to. This was something that was secretive. This was something that was secretive. I mean, not used and, publicly, like as if everybody knew about it. But again, they took the children of our ancestors to manipulate them into thinking that our ancestors' parents didn't build this stuff. So now we thinking that the Underground Railroad was all about running away. But keep in mind, I want y'all to think about this. Even though I debunked Harriet Tubman, but the story they gave us is that she ran from Maryland, knew how to get to the train, took the train. How does she know how to do this? She took the Underground Railroad, but how? Wait a minute now. Oh, wait a minute. Is she too young to know about these routes? Or is she? Frederick Douglass, same thing. Ran from Maryland, took a train, knew how to get to Pennsylvania, from Pennsylvania to New York. Wait a minute now. Who taught him? He was too young. How did he know that? Same thing. Now, they also, here's another thing. Also, I remember one thing we brought up the last live stream is the fact that they claimed that she was a train conductor. Okay, all right, fine. What about the other ones? What are their names? How come she the only one duly noted? What about that? What about all the pictures of the mountains and mountains of these train tracks running through them? What about that? That predated the pneumatic, the one that they claiming that was the pneumatic transit up in New York, as far as the subway system. That predates that, as far as when it was established. But see, they're not telling you, they're telling you when it was established as a company. They're not telling you when it was established as a creation. That was purposely done. They tried to mimic what we already had originally. I'm not going to stay too long on this topic because I got a video coming like I promised y'all. So go ahead. I mean, even though I went over this before in the past, but I realized I'm going to have to give y'all an updated version because that one was like 4 years old or something like that. So I'm going to give y'all an updated version. Yes, this still to this day, these tracks, the majority of them are running parallel with the existing tracks that predated colonialism. I'm going to just straight up say it like that. Predates. So you can give it whatever name you want. Underground Railroad, pneumatic transit, it doesn't matter. It was here. These white folks ain't built that. I remember how they tried to say the Chinese built it too. But keep in mind, all y'all folks came later. You trying to say it was built in the 1800s? So if we've been working on the railroad, why you ain't let the Chinese do it then? You've been working on the railroad all the live long day to pass the time away. To pass the time away. That sounds like a job to me. Sound like somebody might have volunteered to say, you know what, let me work on this railroad to pass the time away. All right, okay. Never mind. I'm going to leave it like that.
61 three balls, says I. In 1861, three balls, says I. In 1861, we licked the Yankees at Bull Run. And we'll all drink stone blind. Johnny, come fill a bowl.
April 12th, 1861. Confederate guns fire on Fort Sumter. The war had come.
Charles Tinsley, one of our people among us, because they had told us Egypt with us against us, he stood in front of the courthouse and he pledged our allegiance to the Mayor Towns of City of Petersburg, that we will serve you in any capacity you wanted, and the community pledged their allegiance to us that they would take care of our families and everything while you're away. And they did that. Now, after a period of time, they wore us down. It's old saying, they wore you down. They got such thinning in the ranks in servitude, they locked our women up overnight and wouldn't let them come home. And one of the songs the women used to sing as they came out of there, Johnny, do you love me now? That's why our women used to sing. And that's why we served them. That's why they believe that this is our 40 acres over here in the center, why we still got it. There's no indication that anybody ever come over here to try to take our land. And we believe it's all because the wars, especially the Civil War, was with the South and they didn't take our land.
Through a mistake we lost Bull Run 3 Bulls, says I. Through a mistake we lost Bull Run 3 Bulls, says I. Through a mistake we lost Bull Run, and we all skedaddled to Washington. And we'll all drink stone blind, Johnny come fill the bowl.
Neither side had wanted it, but the first battle was at hand. And man or boy, Johnny Reb or Billy Yank, each soldier faced his own worst moments alone, waiting.
The Black Code of Virginia that tells you black people's right from the 16th century all the way up until the 19th century. A lot of people ask the question, why did we serve in the Confederates? Because the ordinance required us to. Almost the same ordinance required us to serve in the Revolutionary War applied to the Civil War. If you will die here, you either be a part of us or get the hell out of here.
In 1864, the rebels had enough of the war, and we'll all drink stone blind, Johnny come fill the bowl.
The war could not go on much longer. Grant besieged Petersburg, and with Sherman's cavalry joining him, forced Lee to abandon his capital. It is April 3rd, 1865.
One thing that you talked about was the silence at night.
Mm-hmm.
And you say that you see things.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
The ghosts of the past. If you are walking down the street, something will come and meet you, and when you get there, and it's not there. I believe that so much death and destruction was on this island through both wars, the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. A lot of the dead soldiers that never went home is wandering on here. For an example, this was the gateway to death from the Petersburg, at Richmond-Petersburg Railroad that brought dead bodies in from the Manassas and so forth. And some of them got off a train and wandered in here. I believe that Native American spirit still haunt this place. But once there was an Indian burial ground here, I believe my folks still surround me. You can be walking down the street according to our history, and I believe it. There's a spirit that something will come by you and you feel like you freeze it, but yet in an instant you get hot. The river itself, where they beat slaves to death, drowned them and killed them. Their spirits walk this island, and I feel I can feel them and see them.
The war was now over, and all men free by law. Yet, as with most traumatic experiences, a deep scar was left, one we are still facing today.
I have actually heard some psychologists and sociologists describe what African Americans are generally enduring is post-traumatic stress disorder. For example, for most young African American men, and just as an anecdotal way, I query my students, but I ask them, how many have been stopped by police? How many of you have been stopped? How many of you have been stopped and you feel as if they were just harassing you?
And what's the response that they give?
The response is almost 100%. And I ask my nephews the same question. It's 100%. There's a denial, a constant denial.
But see, again, I just want to explain. I already went over Jim Crow. I went over how that this is a created pain. You know, that any salesman, y'all should be familiar with this, that you have to tie in the pain with your customer to make them feel a certain way and let them know that you can relate to that pain in order to sell that product to that individual. This is a pain, victimizing, imaginary victimizing, by the way, certain beliefs, certain stereotypes, certain criterias. The reason why I'm stating this is because, again, she asked her students, have they ever felt racism by way of the police? We all have. That's something that we could agree upon. But could people of the 1860s say the same? 1850s, 1840s, before there was a police force, before there was a police cavalry. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, when it was a large mass that could control a crowd. Remember the older movies, again, I'm going to give y'all an example of, because we did have a few people out in London, right? I'm going to mention this. Out in London, if y'all remember Fiddler on the Roof and Oliver Twist and it's a couple of Mary Poppins. I want y'all to think about that time period, because the majority of the police, right? If something is going on, they wearing a top hat, black, trench coat, they blowing a whistle. Right? They blowing a whistle up and down the street, running after somebody. One police officer. And then after like 4 or 5 different blocks, another police officer doing the same thing, blowing the whistle. Stop! Stop, young man! Whee! Blowing the whistle, right? They're trying to let you use your imagination as if the police was worse than that out here. During those same time periods. Like they had a stronghold and they didn't. If the police had I'm gonna tell y'all something. If the police, they billy clubs. That's it. If they really did have a stronghold, then it wouldn't be no need for the Ku Klux Klan, the Night Riders, Night Watchers. It wouldn't be a need. Now, those particular so-called rebel groups became police officers, politicians, mayors, governors, eventually. But they had to be taught. They had to be instructed. That was the birth of a new nation, remember? The original birth of a new nation. Go watch that movie if you haven't. Not the one about Nat Turner. The original. Birth of a nation. Keep in mind, if it happened in every state, At that time, before there was a telephone, we talking about 1800s, telephone, any form of communication where one state could connect with another state, get together, have meetings, or we gonna meet up at this area this time. Again, burnings of the cross and trying to go lynch and, burning people's houses, all that stuff right there did not happen in every county of every state. It happened in particular counties of particular states where the foreigners were more dominant. Now, when they did do, and this is another reason why, they're trying to control the narrative, because when they did create the Night Riders and the Night Watchers and the Ku Klux Klan and stuff like that, their agenda was not to take out our people solely. Listen, their agenda was to take out our people and their people that agreed to become Republicans. Hold on, let me make sure I said that correctly, or clearly rather. They were created to be groups or let me not use the term enforcers. They were like in a way assassins. Let me say it that way. To seek out those people that had political power, that were needy and foreign, meaning, whatever you're going to say, white, Caucasian, don't matter, who were of the Republican Party. And look, the majority of the Republicans of the South was nothing but needy here around that time. And this is pre-1875. If you don't know that, I have videos on this. But if you don't know that, I'm not going to tell you something is wrong with you. I'm not going to say that, but I just need you to understand that that is something critical that you have to know. Our people did have political power. This is why eventually they created a lie stating that, our country is going to go through a Great Depression in order to flip the script of our people being in control. They need you. I'm trying to remember the name of that video where I told you how many Republicans we had in each state of the South. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Hopefully it'll come to me. Ancestors work through me. But it is an older video of mine. I'm talking about our people had political power. Again, prior to 1875. This is the reason why they had to reconstruct the United States Constitution in 1871 to write themselves to be, in charge by way of citizenship. Don't forget that we were not citizens. Citizens is another word for resident, another word for membership of a particular society, organization, association, congregation, but more like corporation, which is a business. So that means if you become a citizen, you are now an employee, resident, member. I mean, don't you got your membership card? What's your driver's license? Of your state. What you think that is? Your permission slip to drive? As soon as your parents or that school taught you how to drive, you could drive here. That's your membership card of that state. Just like you get a membership card to Costco's, Food Lion, Sam's Club, blah, 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 blah. Right? Got your name on it. Credit card. You get a credit card in your name. You're a member of the American Express, Capital One, blah, 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 blah. Same thing. That's how it works. Oh, you a member of a nation? A tribal nation? Tribal ID? Huh? They ain't no different than you. And some people hold that up high, as if they got some type of power because of that. It's a privilege to drive? No, it's a skill to drive. It's a privilege to go buy a goddamn car. Okay. But at that time, we were in control. This is the reason why you saw a lot of stuff in play that was coming about during that time period to stop us from being in control. Notice how that say birth of Jim Crow 1822. What was the point of that? And don't forget that they told us that slavery was allegedly abolished in 1863, 1865. But they got the notion in your mindset thinking because we were experiencing racism, we were experiencing death. But think about that. The slave master ain't going to be in business to kill the employee, their slave. How they going to take care of themselves without him? They are not in business to kill or mistreat their slaves. Chop arms, feet, and stuff. Like, I'm talking about for real now. Because then that means they got to do the job on their own. Stop believing their lies now. Put two and two together. Right now, McDonald's don't got no employees. What McDonald's going to do? Crash, burn. Target, they don't got no employees. What's going to happen? Crash, burn. So pick them. Pick a business. So you going to mean to tell me, you trying to tell me that a slave master is going to whoop their slave, hurt them, to a point where they can't perform their duty, and everything gonna be all right? They gonna mistreat their employee. The mistreatment was the pay. That was the mistreatment. The mistreatment was for how long you were working. That was the mistreatment. Why you think they created unions? The mistreatment was the pay. The mistreatment was how long you were working. The mistreatment was how long was the contract. That was the mistreatment. Once they created labor unions, that wasn't because of your skin complexion. That was because not only were you being treated that way as a Niji, so was incoming foreigners. The labor unions looked out for certain people, just like how it is right now. That's the same thing. They're going to show favoritism still. But guaranteed, a foreigner situation is going to work out more so than our situation. They may pretend like it worked in our favor, but guaranteed if the foreigner was in that same position, it would be higher. For example, if our situation or discrepancy had to do with some type of a pay, you already know that a foreigner is getting paid more than you. So yeah, they might have gave you another $2, $3, but guaranteed that foreigner got 5, 6, 7, 8 more. It don't ever fail. That's still today. And do you want to run right to the same government and ask them for reparations? After their plans to separate our people and stop our people from excelling started at the top of the 1800s, I mean? Same government now. That ain't too far away from here as far as the time. 1800s, their agenda was to stop us from being better off than them. It looked bad on their note. Their country's laughing at them. You shouldn't have left. Ha ha. See, now you got to beg them Indians for help. When I said it took them 100 and 150 years to get it done, that's what I mean. Manipulated you out of your own position of power and put themselves in it and wrote themselves in it too, 1871. And still ain't give you no position because they weren't in position for you. When they say we the people, they weren't referring to you. That's why I said this government is not for you. The majority of the prisons out here, their population guaranteed nothing but needy men and women. Why? Free labor. That's why. And it's been like that for years. It's been like that for years. Who you think was working on the railroad? That's where the free labor came about. That's where the chains and shackles came about. That's it right there. Hello. And the only time they were able to do that is when they had the police force. It had to be a bunch of them, not just 1, 2, 3 blowing whistles running around with billy clubs. They came packed, running through our communities, pulling our young bucks. Ain't even telling them what they doing. Ain't they doing that right now? Ain't even telling them what they doing, just throwing cuffs on them, sending them to jail. They doing it now. It's still happening. Still happening. That girl in, I believe that was in Alabama. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Pale woman, police officer. A boy, a needy man was out there changing a tire. Changing the tire on his car. She didn't tell him what he was doing wrong. He was asking. This just recently happened. He was asking what happened. She pulled out her taser and started tasing him for no reason. He crying and everything. But see, here's my thing. If you start putting foot to tail, ain't gonna be none of that now. This how you hurt them police officers and them ones that's racist. You go after the insurance companies. Every single employer, listen, has an insurance company. You go after the insurance company, you gonna hurt the company because they gotta pay for that. So forget trying to file a complaint with the same goddamn department. Go straight to the insurance company, then file a complaint. And make sure you got an attorney that's gonna back your ass up, take them to court. They gonna have to cough up. See how ain't nobody do that yet? Ain't nobody do that yet. Nobody. I've been tweeting it. I Facebooked it, Instagrammed it, TikToked it. No, I probably ain't TikToked it, but I YouTubed it. I told y'all go after them insurance companies. Every company has an insurance company. Everyone. And don't forget that the Fraternity Order Police is a company. You go after the insurance companies, that insure the state as well. They gonna know you know what you talking about. They gonna back the hell up. Like, oh shit, cut that nigga $2 million, man. Get him out of there. He know too much. Go after the insurance companies. I bet they'll stop that. I'm talking about, I bet they stop that quick. Alabama, you heard what I said, Alabama? Go after them insurance companies, Alabama. Kentucky, y'all do it too. I know it's a lot of them little prejudiced people out there. Virginia, shit, we on Virginia, right? Virginia, you too. Talking about some Commonwealth, my ass. Go after them insurance companies. I bet they straighten the hell up and fly the fuck right. Guaranteed. That badge don't got shit on nobody. I'm trying to tell you. Not only would they lose their job, but I'm talking about the officer that you filed the complaint on, but that money got to come up from off of that county police and the state. You're going to do both of them. Hit both of them insurance companies. And guess what? It don't cost a thing here. Not a thing. People don't know about that, though. You can easily find out your police department's county insurance company. Look it up. Look it up. You go down there and file a complaint, guaranteed it's within that state. Mess around, they got State Farm and Geico. What you think, you could just sue the person that hit your car and that's it? File a report because, you know, you got some damage on your house and that's it? And you think these insurers ain't bonding these police officers out just like they bonding out the inmates? You got another thing coming. What do you think a bond is? This how you, come on. Credit, debit, same thing. Credit, debit, same thing. Stocks and bonds, same thing. Paperwork. It worked the same way. You don't know law. Neither do you. You ain't insured. You ain't come after the insurers. And look, here go another thing. This is another reason why that lady found out that Aetna insured a particular company, right? Bank of America. They had to come out. Hold on, was it Bank of America or Wachovia? One of them had to come out and say that they were insuring employers that were hiring AKA slaves as their employees, and they got on Aetna in the 1980s. I showed you that. These people exist still to this day. Matter of fact, in my book, I showed you, I told you by name who should be held responsible. By name. In my most recent book, me and my wife, I'm trying to tell you, these people still exist. But you coming after who? You coming after the wrong people. And for the wrong reasons. You coming after them because of the story they gave you. Talk about so they came off of a boat from Africa. You come after them because, hey, you ain't pay me little to nothing and you got insured on my life. I bet if you come after them insurance companies, it will be a whole different ball game here. In each state. I dare you. I dare you. They wait until that the elder out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, passed away. Bless her heart. I forgot her name, but she one of the last survivors of the Holocaust of 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they bombed the Greenwood District. Bombed it. What, U.S. Army planes? And you mean to tell me evidence after evidence exists and nobody ain't come after the insurers? And guess what? Do you know, since the U.S. incorporated as a corporation, a business, I want you to think about who insures them. Some of y'all gonna say IMF, and you real close. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But wait a minute, they even got their own Treasury Department. Department of Treasury, wait a minute. Hit that ass through 2-3 times. And not just a civil suit. Not just a discrimination lawsuit. Class action. That is a class action. Big time. But they waiting till that young lady, she's an elder, but they waiting till that young lady pass away. Because they know our people ain't going to go look into that now. And she came out her own mouth and said that it was U.S. Army planes dropping bombs on our own people. I'm paraphrasing, but goddamn it, she said it. I told you. I showed you. I did the research on that. And look, and that was barely noted, by the way, because they know for a fact that they did it more than once. Not only on Tulsa, it happened in so many different states where our ancestors were prospering here as business owners and landowners. They said, okay, fine. You don't want to agree with this government? We're going to bomb you. We're going to bomb your businesses. That was the start of gentrification. I told you that. That was the start of redlining. I showed you that. Urban removal, urban renewal. Get rid of the spot you were located and give you one. Don't that sound like a reservation? An area that was reserved for you to stay? Don't confuse it with plantation. Plantation is a glorified term for farm. Plants. Our people want working, yeah. Yeah, plantation still exists. They calling them farms. Shout out to my people out in D.C. and Southeast. We call right down there by one way, Berry Farms, right? Where my D.C. folks at? Berry Farms, right? When you hear Berry Farms, I want you to think Berry Plantation. Look at all that area over there now. Those of you out in D.C., I want you to look at what they just did too. And didn't they get rid of the farms? And what they turn it into? I'm going to just leave it like that. I want y'all to put that together. And I want y'all to also remember, they got rid of y'all people up out of there too, didn't they? Urban removal, urban renewal. Am I lying? Now, I'm from the city. I was there, but before I left D.C., I was there when they were executing that. I was seeing how it was so many white folks popping in Southeast, and I told y'all then. I said, this about to change. They about to change this. That's right, ghettos, reservations. That's right. Same thing. Same thing. Same exact thing. We got to change this. We got to take it over. But I want y'all to know that I'm going to go back to this. At this time, right here, look how long we've been. It's about to be 3 hours. But hold on. We got it. God damn it. I hope we can just get through this. Oh, man. All right. But anyway, I might have to go live again tomorrow because this is crazy. I can't believe I look up. It's almost 3 hours. I try, and I know y'all getting on me. Dang, you be live streaming too long. I apologize. That is so crazy. It's been 3 hours already, and I ain't even get a chance to go through this thing, man. All right, God damn it. I mean, okay, all right, tell you what. We gotta go early. What's tomorrow? We gotta go earlier than this. Tomorrow is Tuesday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday. God damn it. I apologize, y'all. I know they about to chew me up for them comments. All right, so we at exactly the 50 mark. We ain't even get. I'm trying to move on so we can move on to other things. Cause I want to show y'all so much more. Man, see? Okay, all right. Calm down. We're going to come right back to this. And I'm probably not even going to do a recap because every time I do a recap, I'm in it again. So I'm probably gonna skip the recap. That's what I'm probably gonna do. Cause that's like, God damn. I asked my wife, I said, no more than 2 hours this time. Cause I went for 4 hours the last time. Looked up and was like, God damn, wait a minute, how did that happen? So I gotta go earlier tomorrow because I know it's late for certain people. It's early for and people in California and Midwest. I apologize, but the people in the Eastern time, they gotta go to work. Man. Yeah. Let me Let me come tomorrow. I gotta pause this because it's late. It's late. I know better than that. It's late. Because I don't want y'all to miss these key ingredients, man. I want to pick this right back up tomorrow, fresh. I promise I'm going tomorrow. Early, I promise. I'm not playing. We going tomorrow. I did not mean to be this long. Let me do my shout outs right now. Oh man, where we at? Wait a minute, I missed a lot. Good grief. Hold on, wait a minute, go back. Okay, right here. Okay, Running Deer, thank you for becoming a member. Dier Fennell, thank you for becoming a member. I hope I pronounced that correctly, sister. Running Deer, thank you for gifting the membership. I appreciate that. Hodges, thank you for becoming a member. Oh, Running Deer gifted another membership. I appreciate that, Running Deer. And Stephen Britter, thank you for becoming a member. Empress Star, thank you for being a member for 6 months in a row. Let's go. Hey,
Set it on fire.
Nappy Star, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. You said love, brother, love, family. I appreciate that. Michael Davis, thank you for becoming a member as well. EJ Taylor, I appreciate that, EJ. Thank you for being a member. And who that right there? Kalahari, thank you for being a member for 18 months in a row. Woo. Let's go. You said feathers up.
It's up.
Tavion, thank you for becoming a member. Kane, Miss Carter, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate all these memberships, y'all. I appreciate that. Donald Brown, thank you for becoming a member. Luminous Star? Luminous, I'm guessing that's Star, but you added a Z. I hope I said that right. Thank you for the gifted membership. I appreciate that. Valerie St. Marie, thank you for becoming a member. And Luminous, I hope I'm saying Luminous Star. I hope that's right. Thank you for the donation as well. I appreciate that, family. Kamor's Battle. Hey, welcome back. Thank you for the donation as well. Y'all show love. Tavion, thank you for the donation. Y'all ain't had to do all that now. I appreciate that. Hey, woo, hey, Kitty. Shit, Kitty. Kitty been a member for 36 months in a row.
It's go time, Slim.
Set it on fire.
I appreciate that, Kenny. Goddess Wild Red, I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. It say Gifted C. Johnson been a member for 27 months in a row. Y'all going crazy. I appreciate that. Thank y'all for being here, man. Thank you. Shada Bear, thank you for becoming a member. Latanya been a member for eight months in a row. I appreciate that, Latanya. Hey, that's all love. I'm gonna double check my Cash App real quick, make sure I ain't missing nobody. Hold up. Give me a second. Philip, I see you. Did you leave a message? No. Don't forget that y'all can, when y'all donate, leave messages if you can, if you want to. You don't have to, but I would love to read your messages out, you know, if you can, okay? Who that? Mohawk, I am. Woo! 24 months in a row. I appreciate that. Drea Jackson, 6 months in a row. Let's go. Y'all go, hey, that's love right there. So like, I promise I'm not playing tomorrow early. Be there. I want to say a time, but it's going to be early evening hours. I'm going to just say it like that. Because every time I say this time, early evening. Be there. We finishing this up. Hopefully. Hopefully. Because I want to move on to the other stuff. But I appreciate that. Dre, thank you. I appreciate that. I just got that cash app. It just came through. I appreciate that. You said you've been a member since 2017. Hey.
Set it on fire.
I appreciate that, Dre. Oh, you said DMV, Dre, on top of that. You from the city? What up, Dre? What up, Slim?
It's go time, Slim.
I appreciate that. So early evening, I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Y'all take care. I love y'all. I hope y'all learned something. I hope y'all could take this and, spread the message to your people, man. To our people, man. They deserve it. They deserve it. They deserve to know the truth. Hurry up so we could get to the next step. Making that real transition. Hurry up. We got shit to do, man. Tomorrow, speaking of stuff to do, tomorrow, don't forget, y'all, we still doing our thing. 13% community server with that movement. Takeover Tuesdays campaign. Let's do it. I see I need you tomorrow. What up?
I'm just here to make you think.
Slow down.